On the 18th of September 2013, the Auditor-General tabled his audit report on managing telecommunications usage and expenditure. The Auditor-General provides assurance to Parliament on the accountability and performance of the Victorian public sector. The Audit Act 1994 defines the powers and responsibilities of the Auditor-General and the Victorian Auditor-General's Office. Under this Act, the Auditor-General conducts and reports on both financial audits and performance audits. The Auditor-General's mandate covers over 500 entities, including government departments, hospitals, local government, water corporations, police, emergency services, universities, and superannuation schemes. This presentation is a summary of the report managing telecommunications usage and expenditure. To read the full report, please go to our website www.audit.vic.gov.au. Telecommunications services, in particular fixed voice and mobile phones, are essential to support the delivery of government services. Total expenditure on these services across the Victorian public sector has grown significantly over the last 5 years, from around $42 million in 2007-2008 to around $53 million in 2011-2012. In 2004, the state established the telecommunications carriage service agreements with approved providers that enable participating agencies to purchase telecommunications services at agreed rates that aim to deliver best value. These arrangements are currently accessed by all government departments. However, each agency is responsible for managing its own usage and expenditure. Recent statewide initiatives such as the Better Service Implementation Task Force and Sustainable Government Initiative heighten the need for agencies to minimise their administrative costs and unnecessary expenditure. This graph illustrates the growth in total expenditure across the Victorian public sector over the 5 years to 2012. This growth has been largely driven by increased expenditure in the mobile sector, which grew by around $10 million, or 70% over the same period. This reflects both the increased use of and preference for mobiles as communication devices. The objective of this audit was to examine the effectiveness of agencies in managing their telecommunications usage and expenditure by assessing whether they effectively minimise waste and reduce the risk of overcharging, monitor, detect and manage inappropriate use by employees, and manage contracts to make best use of the aggregated purchasing agreements. The audit included the 3 agencies that had the highest spend on telecommunications services in 2011-2012. They are the Department of Human Services, the Department of Justice, and Victoria Police. The main conclusions from the audit were that the agencies examined cannot be confident that they are effectively managing all aspects of their telecommunications usage and expenditure. None of these agencies had sufficient organisation-wide controls to effectively manage the major drivers of both fixed voice and mobile expenditure, particularly call costs, mobile data use, and line rental. Nor did they demonstrate regular whole-of-organisation oversight and monitoring of telecommunications usage and expenditure, or regularly inform executive management of the effectiveness of related management controls and initiatives. These weaknesses impede the capacity of each agency to fully leverage savings opportunities across the whole organisation. Agencies, therefore, need to take more focused and coordinated action to address these issues. Turning firstly to our findings on the expenditure trends and key cost drivers, our analysis reveals the greatest ongoing savings potential are from making sure bills are accurate, identifying and removing redundant services, promptly accessing the best contract rates, and recovering costs for excessive personal use. DHS had the most effective agency-wide controls for mobiles, and this was reflected in its declining expenditure over 3 years. The audit also examined agency governance arrangements for telecommunications usage and expenditure, and we found that none of the examined agencies could demonstrate effective agency-wide oversight. None of the agencies monitor or report to management on usage and expenditure. Additionally, none had clarified the minimum procedures necessary for effectively verifying invoices and minimising waste. The audit also identified opportunities for increasing savings by strengthening processes for adopting negotiated improvements to rates within whole-of-government agreements. Recent delays by the agencies examined in adopting the new rates for mobiles indicates potential lost savings of up to $660,000 across all applicable public sector agencies. Shortcomings identified indicate that there is insufficient assurance that all agencies are verifying invoices and reducing redundant services, enforcing reasonable limits for personal usage, and effectively recovering costs exceeding these limits, and effectively managing mobile data costs. Encouragingly, a number of good practices were identified at Victoria Police and the Department of Human Services. Specifically, Victoria Police's Eastern Region has rigorous processes for verifying invoices. Additionally, Victoria Police is expected to save around $235,000 per year from proactively identifying and cancelling redundant landlines. And by actively managing and consolidating mobile accounts, both Victoria Police and the Department of Human Services have saved around $640,000 and $245,000 per year respectively. The Department of Justice had the weakest practices of the agencies examined, but has initiated action to address this. These initiatives offer valuable insights on the potential savings from a more coordinated and effective whole-of-agency approach. And so, in this context, our recommendations are directed to all public sector agencies, specifically that they should establish agency-wide oversight of fixed voice and mobile usage and expenditure, develop clear guidance on the allocation and use of mobile phones, establish consistent agency-wide controls for effectively managing expenditure, review thresholds for allowable personal usage and implement timeframes for recovering associated costs, promptly adopt variations to the whole of government agreements to optimise savings, systematically verify the accuracy of fixed voice and mobile invoices, regularly monitor fixed voice and mobile usage and cancel unused services, regularly monitor data usage and actively manage data plans to optimise value, and actively enforce compliance with policies on personal usage. The three audited agencies have accepted the recommendations and have in most cases provided a plan setting out the specific actions that they will take to address those recommendations. All our reports are available on our website. If you have any questions about this or other reports, or if you have anything else you would like to discuss with us, including ideas for future audit topics, please call us on 03-86 01 7000 or contact us via our website.